Okay, welcome folks, welcome one and all. I'm just getting set up Welcome to the people who are here at the moment. If you're just passing through, thanks for stopping by. If you are staying for a while, it'd be great to see you here. So just looking at the chat. Evening, James. Welcome, welcome, welcome. NTB Dan 85. Hi. Back to you. MTB Dan fractured. James, are you just having a conversation between you? That's funny, isn't it? James, you're just saying you've been chilling for an hour with your mate, playing darts. I've literally just left my mate up at a farm. They're near me, and they've just literally started playing darts. There's a sink for you. Yeah, excellent. Darts are absolutely fantastic game. I was trying to stream on the other channel, but it looks like it's not worked out again, oddly enough. I'm just going to go and check. It's advertised it on that channel, but I don't think it's streaming from that channel. So maybe we will get some people from there, but looking at it, maybe. Oh, you know what? Let's just get on with it. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. As you can see, we're going to be doing a bit of painting today. Let me just turn that music down a little bit. I started this. Let's get rid of that. I started this the other day. Let's perhaps just zoom in. Where are we? Just try and zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to stand up a second and just see if I can zoom in a little bit, just so you can see it. High production values going on here. You could see it in its entirety. I might just bend this around a little bit. It's a little bit off, something like that. Get it more into frame. I think that's pretty much covering it. Oh no, not quite. All right, let's just get set up with this first, and then we'll get cracking. So I started this the other day. I was talking about this on my stream with had Kit Kats with us, and Little Rick popped in for a while as well. I think that'll do for that. So let's have a look. MTB Dan 85. Can you draw an old pirate ship today? Well, I'll tell you what, I can maybe end on a pirate ship. How about that? I might have to get. I'm a bit rusty with reference, so I might have to see if I can bring something up on my iPad and just at least get a bit of reference. I generally know, but you know, it's a little bit. I'm mainly doing figures, but yeah, I'm open to that. Absolutely open to that. James, again, good to hear you. Yes. Such a of course, I mean, Lord of the Rings, favourite film of all time, absolutely. All right, so we are going to make a start. So let me just give you, what is it? Just outline of what I'm attempting to do. So I'm going to add some colour to this. I bought some new. Some lovely watercolours from my local art supply. So we've got all these to choose from now, which is really great. So, and they're really good colours. You may recall I was struggling a little bit with the other watercolours because they were repelling off the page, but these aren't. So, in case you couldn't make it, or you didn't manage to make it yesterday, this is the one that I did. I did put it on the channel. So if we can just find it. Wherever it is. Oh no, it's there, isn't it? There we go. Sandwiched between there. There we go. So this is the one that I did yesterday. I had Kit Kats with us. Kit Kats. I was struggling a bit with the colours, and after a bit of back and forth, Kit Kats suggested purple going into white. I thought that was a really good design choice, and so I had a bit of art direction from Kit Kats, so thanks to Kit Kats. But I think this turned out rather well. Again, I'd started inking that character. It looked like something from Jabberwocky, or it could even be Time Bandits or something or other, I don't know. But I was quite pleased how that turned out. And then I started, and then I was talking to Kit Kats about this. Now, Kit Kats suggested started drawing a character, and then I said I was going to make it into like a Mad Max type thing. Kit Kats suggested giving the character a pike. I thought you meant fish initially. A pike crossed with a chainsaw, and I thought that'd be really interesting. Taxidermy, with a fish and a chainsaw. And Kit Kat says, no, it's a spike. So anyway, I did this sort of last night, this morning. I'm not sure if I'll get round to painting this today, but I thought it turned out rather well. Again, I'm always pleased with the hands. That hand didn't turn out initially, so I had to kind of go over that. So that was there. And then this afternoon, I had a bit of time, so I did this drawing. You'll find the short on the channel. And this is going to be a bit more gothic. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's supposed to be this kind of like, Victorian lad who's reading some gothic novel, and then this hand appears out of the novel and it's going to sort of drag him into it. So I'm quite looking forward to inking that up and painting it as well. I might ink it up and then paint it tomorrow. We'll see anyway, whatever. So I've been having quite a bit of fun. It's reading week at the university, so I've had a bit more time to kind of do a bit more drawing and a bit more painting. That one you saw the other day. So this is it. So I'm going to get into it. I'm just going to check the comments before I get going. Little Rick is back. I'm back. I'm just working my way up. Sorry if you already checked because I didn't hear. It just popped onto the other channel. And you are live there too. James, you're a star. Thank you so much. I couldn't see it. I've got this weird feedback loop where it kept defaulting to this channel that we're watching it on, the main one. So welcome to everyone else in the other channel as well. Little Rick, already read yours. Welcome. James, you watched The Entomologist. Excellent. Yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a strange film. Made with my brother. It's frightening, right? It's frightening because we did that film. I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about this. We did that film almost that I almost feel sick actually saying it. We did that film almost 30 years ago. I can't even believe I'm saying that. That's shocking. I'm not sure if my brother Daz is going to watch this video. Daz, if you are going to watch this either now or in the future, can you believe it's been that long? But yeah, it was an epic film, an epic part of all of our lives. So much happened in that time. But yeah, the film did really well. But now it's relegated to YouTube. Now and forever. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Looking good, thank you, Little Rick. Let's get on and do some painting, shall we? Right, so I'm going to start mixing some paint up. You might appreciate watching a bit of this. These are so brand new, I'm going to puncture some of these because they're still brand new. So I'm just going to put some browns, some yellows, some whites. Let's put a bit of white in. Oh, no, you see. No, there we go. I thought it was closed for a minute. And a bit of yellow. I used this yellow the other day. I think I'll use this as well. It's a kind of richer yellow. There we are. And did I use using a bit of black? Oh, that was violet, wasn't it? A bit of brown. A bit of this brown as well. I'll put some of that in there. That's all tickety-boo. And then now we're going to use, probably are going to use a bit of blue for the sky in the background. So I'm going to put a bit of blue in there. Like so. I'm not sure if we'll need any red, all the primary colours. The black, brown, I think that, not sure if we'll need black. What else do I need? That might do for now, I think. I don't need any purples, I don't think. Green. I can mix that up, but I might just do, because it's like a swamp that they're in. So you can see these are completely brand new. So I'm just going to use my little penknife just to break that open. And then I'll use a bit of green as well. There we go. So I can mix that with a bit of the white and lighten that. So there we are. So I'm going to keep this off camera because obviously you want to see the painting, but I thought you'd appreciate just seeing that. And let's get into, I think I'm going to start off with our little Gandalf character. So I'm going to, which I might put that there we go. So let's have a look at doing a bit of this. Adding a bit of yellow to the brown. You can't see this, I'm slightly off camera, but I'm going to just start really blocking in. I've got this kind of lightish brown. And these watercolours are really good and they don't bead on the surface, which is exactly what I was looking for. And yeah, and that's it really. So, you know, it's I'm just going to paint. You can talk amongst yourselves. You can ask any questions. I will, if we've got some time, MTB Dan 85, we shall indeed try a pirate ship. That could be something to start sketching in. When I ended the stream yesterday, I did a bit of drawing, and I think Kit Kat's quite like that. I think it was quite a nice, chilled way to kind of end the stream, just doing a bit of freestyle drawing. And of course I love drawing, so I think we will probably end on doing a pirate ship. So there we are. So let's have a look. I'm just going to catch up on the I have to keep looking away, you see, because I can't see the phone. I'm trying to catch up. I think you're having a conversation with each other, aren't you? MTB Dan, I wish I had a teacher like you when I was a kid. Oh, that's very sweet. That's very sweet of you, matey. Yeah, well, first of all, lovely comment. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's, well, I love teaching. And I think I definitely, the movies were good. I mean, it's interesting, you know, when I've told you, I know I've told you many times about working in movies. It's interesting from my good friend Mark, he was telling me a lot of my colleagues from the film industry, when they found out that I'd gone into teaching, they were saying, that's absolutely like my natural element. Because I didn't teach. One of the things I used to do when I was in movies, though, I did like to kind of help people. And I think that maybe that's where it crept in with the teaching. So when I moved into teaching, they were all like, oh, that's absolutely like the right choice. And I've done about almost 10 years working in movies. And I've loved it ever since. Bit of up and downs with it, as with all jobs, but it's very rewarding. It's very, you know, and I love to sort of inspire people. But very nice comment. Where are we? All I can remember of my teachers, the smell of smoke and coffee. yeah, well, they don't sort of, I don't think they're really, they certainly allow coffee, but they don't allow smoking, do they? And they always told you were going nowhere. Well, can I say this? Well, I'm not going to name names, but let's suffice it to say, when I was at school, make of this what you will. Let's just not narrow it down too much. Let's just say a teacher, and we're going back into the mist of time now, back into the 80s. When I first went to art college, this teacher who I liked, and I was talking to them, and I told them I was going to go to college because I didn't do too well with my grades. I was just always getting into trouble with you know, just drawing in a jotter and doing funny caricatures of teachers. Anyway, but I did excel in art. And they said to me, are you sure art college is the right choice for you? And I couldn't believe it when they said that. And I told my mum about it, and she knew this teacher as well. They were old friends from a long time ago. And she went ballistic. Naturally went ballistic. It's still, the mind boggles as to why a teacher would say that. So you'll have my sympathies, MTB Dan. And unlike my teachers, I actually find his rambles about his previous work interesting to hear about. Well, again, that's very kind, matey. Thank you. No, that's a nice comment. different times. Oh, I think you're talking to James. James, thank you again. Thank you for saying that as well. You're my man in the corner, aren't you? Thank you so much for reminding everyone. If you do like this content, if you're watching this in the future or right now, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And thank you to James for reminding everyone to do that. It's great, it's really encouraging, and it, propels me on, it encourages me. This is like, I don't know about you, I think, well, I get the impression you like coming here. But for me, these streams have really become like a big highlight of the day. I really, really look forward to being here and painting. It's an unexpected little kind of, an unexpected thing that's going to happen. Let's put it that way. Just doing that, just sort of going one day. I've done live streams before, but not like this. They were kind of a little bit hit and miss. I think I was live stream for students and one thing and another, and I think you got to time it right. But doing this has become like a real joy. So thank you so much. MTB Dan, yeah, the pirate ship idea. I'm thinking old Skull and Bone style. Yes, I really enjoy watching your streams. Very peaceful and knowledgeable. Well, again, just lovely comments. Thank you so much for the comments, MTB Dan. It's very, very kind. All right, I might add a bit of red. I'm just thinking like these could be like blankets or something that are rolled up. But again, I don't want to make them too red. I just want to make them kind of muted. But yeah, it's just a great thing. And it's amazing, isn't it? The way that the technology is developed now, whereas like ordinarily, because I've done like things like when I have the gallery in Matlock, this is in between teaching, I used to do classes, and that's great, life drawing classes, things like that. And it's all great, it's great, but like to be able to do this, like you could watch this on your phone, like, you could be chilling out in the car, well, not chilling out in the car, but you could be sat somewhere in the living room or wherever. And just watching it, you don't have to be here. It's amazing. It is, particularly coming from an era, I was a sort of, I was a kid in the, in the 70s, going into the 80s, and it's, this technology is, how it's advanced is mad, to the point now where, we're not together, but we can be together, and it's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers, but brilliant. Brilliantly bonkers. Anyway, stop rambling and start painting. Let's have a look. So I'm thinking with this, I'm not thinking white, but I'm thinking, it could be like an Appaloosa horse, possibly. Could put some spots on it. I'm going to see how it works out. Let's have a look. James, ditto, absolutely, Jason. To be frank, I wouldn't consider myself an artist by any stretch, but your work is great, and the streams are such an easy chill to watch. Oh, again, lovely comment, James. Thank you very much. MTV Dan, I'm 40 years of age, and it is so relaxing to kick back and chill and watch someone draw. I find it peaceful and so relaxing. Well, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing, MTB Dan. It's meant to be chilled, and it is. You see, I do it as well. There are people that you kind of see some people painting. Like one of the guys that I mentioned this the other day, Carl Kopinski, just a phenomenal artist. Unfortunately, he had a stroke last year. But he's really great to see. But and there's another guy, Kim Jong-ji. Again, unfortunately, this is a bit depressing, but he passed away. But he was amazing to watch. But like it's things like what I used to love, of course, back in the day was that Bob Ross. Just hearing him kind of talk, and there's been no one like him really. There's been no one like Bob Ross, and you know, I'm certainly not worthy, you know, to compare myself even to Bob Ross. But you know, that kind of like drawing it or painting and talking or stuff like that. You know, if I could achieve a fraction of like what he achieved, then that would be amazing. But there aren't, you know, I watch some stuff and it's great to kind of see. One of the things I also watch is this guy called Pete. What's his name? Oh God, I forget. My brain's going. Pete Beard, I think his name is. He did some video. He's not live streaming. He did some videos of like 18th or 19th century painters going into the early 20th century. And he's good because he kind of just talks about the artist, but he's not painting, he's not drawing per se. But I think that combination of just seeing art and talking, you know what I think it is? If I may be so bold, and you may relate to this, of course, it's like bedtime. You know, if you're lucky enough to have like you know, a mum or a dad or a guardian who'd you know, read to you at night. It's maybe possibly along those kind of lines in that kind of universe where, you know, you're seeing pictures but you're hearing talking. I'm not going to name names. I was talking to a student the other day, and I think the student, if they do happen to watch this video at a later date, this is meant to be a compliment, of course, and I took it as a compliment. I didn't take it as a I wasn't offended by it, but I was talking to the student and about work, and I was doing a little demo, and the student fell asleep. They fell asleep, and they were very apologetic afterwards. But I was like, no, that's absolutely fine. I've had this before where I've been talking, and it's that kind of, it's the drone, isn't it? It's the drone of, and particularly when someone's really relaxed, when you're really relaxed, and it's particularly if you like a busy day. It kind of has that like soporific effect, doesn't it? Anyway, James, likewise, I'm 36, so obviously we're like-minded. Yeah. I mean, I'm slightly older than you guys, not by a lot, but you know, I'm older. But it's we're in a similar vein. You know, you're where would you be? You're millennial, but also you probably got a bit of Gen X in there as well. I'm definitely Gen X. But you'll have the kind of millennial, particularly if you've had, you know, people around you of Gen X. I think there's a sort of crossover point, and tend to kind of have similar, you know, growing up like watching similar TV, you know, at least, you know, back in the day when, you know, perhaps things were a little bit more risque. But so you kind of have like a similar, you can sort of develop a similar worldview, let's put it that way, something like that. Anywho, I'll read the comments in a minute. I just want to just paint in a bit here, just a bit of pink around the mouth. And with the eye, I'm not sure about that white eye. I think I might just darken that down a bit. And I did say Appaloosa, didn't it? I think they have brown spots. It's black or brown spots. My sister's the expert on this. She's got horses, but I think it's brown spots. Or dark brown, something like that. Beautiful horses. I think she's got one. I'm just going to try and catch up with her. I don't want to miss anyone out. Oh, you're having a conversation with yourselves. Oh yeah, football. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm a bit crap with football. I'm not. I watch it. I watch things like the World Cup, but I'm not like an avid. Right, so let's have a quick look. I'm just going to see if anyone's. I don't want to leave anyone out on the other channel, so I just want to make sure that Ah, is it now happening? There we go. There's no comments, but and is anyone? No, that's a stream from the other day. It might just. I'm just very mindful about not leaving people out. I don't want to leave anyone out. Okay, chill stream, Jason chill stream. There we go. Right. Let's have a look. There we go. Patrick G3F8X. Bonjour, Patrick. Very kind comments. Yes. Oh, that's very kind, Patrick. Thanks for your comments as well, James, on that. Patrick, thank you so much for the lovely comments. I'm not sure if you're still with us or if you are somewhere else. I've got 2 streams going at the moment. And James, my main man, James, is hovering between the 2. So thank you so much, matey, for doing that. I owe you a good few beers for doing that. It's very kind of you. So welcome, everyone. Just doing a bit of watercolour on my ink. And if you stick around, I'll take you through the rest of the sketchbook to end on it. Although we're probably going to end on doing a bit of drawing, as suggested by MTB Dan. We're going to try a little pirate ship, so I'm going to have to kind of like think about that, what I could potentially do. I might have to just get a little bit of reference. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I can just kind of sketch it in. You know, it is a ship, but I want to just make sure I get it. Well, you can't really say anatomically correct, but I want to just get the proportions right. So I might have a quick look at my iPad and then sketch something in. I'm already thinking with the pirate ship, potentially something like a sea monster. What do you reckon, MTB Dan? Maybe like some tentacles like a kraken coming out there. Or could it be, don't know. Have a think about it. What other elements, apart from a pirate ship, what else could we include in there to spice things up a bit? It could be, always be thinking like fantastical elements. It's got to be something strange. I mean, there could be being attacked by mermaids. Who knows? But something that's going to be a bit out of the ordinary, because that's what the whole theme with this sketchbook is. It's kind of like normal, but not really normal. There's lots of things that are out of the ordinary. But anyway, thank you so much for the people on my Jason Etienne chill stream. Feel free to make some comments. I'll try and hover between the 2. Let's see if we can go back to the other channel. I'm catching up here. I'm catching up. Loads of comments. MTB Dan 85. It's really funny when I see pictures of Lord of the Rings style. I always expect to see a really long pipe. Yeah, you know. Whoa. What if it? No, I don't want to. No, that is risky. I could put a pipe in there. He's probably. I don't think Gandalf smokes whilst he's riding, though, does he? When he's I forget the name of his horse, but I don't think he usually has a toke, does he? That's usually when he's kind of chilling out and thinking. But yeah, it's a good idea. MTB Dan, we should all meet up at Christmas this year for a drink and a bite to eat. That sounds like a lovely. Well, what an amazing idea! How mad would that be? How mad would meeting? I don't know, wherever. Again, it's like where's everyone coming from? I'm not sure, but what a wonderful idea that would be. And that could tie in with ideas I've got with the sketchbook as well. So put that on the back burner. That's a lovely, lovely idea, MTB Dan. Right, James, doing my best. I'll call those in one day for sure. Yeah. Jason, meet and greet 2027. Exactly, yeah. So I'll probably, at that point, I'll probably owe you more than, like a good few beers, a crate of beer maybe, or a couple of crates of beer. But Louise Rogers, you are really good. And hi, Louise. Lovely comment. Thank you so much. And welcome. Welcome. And thank you for the lovely comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I try and stream daily. But thank you so much. And you are most and more than welcome. Thank you for welcoming James. Dan, I bit for that, mate. Plus, planning it for Christmas gives you plenty of time to get to know me, get sick of me, change your mind. I wouldn't have thought anyone would get sick of you, James. NTB Dan 85, Soul James, that'll do it. I'm just reading your comments now. Kit Kats is in the house, excellent. Evening. Excellent. So we've got, I'm not sure if Little Rick's still here. I think we've almost got like a full house, haven't we? And some new people as well. So how lovely is that? So the plan is to try and get this painted. Kit Kats. I'll at some point, if you stick around, I'll show you the drawing that I inked from yesterday's stream. You know, the one with the Mad Max character who had, well, I thought you were talking about like a stuffed fish with a chainsaw. It turned out you were talking about a spike. So I've done that, and I think it turned out rather well. I showed it at the beginning of the stream, so be sure to stick around for that. And then we're going to do like we did before, where I'm going to do a bit of drawing, and MTB Dan has suggested that I do something like a pirate ship. I want it to have like a fantastical theme though. So it could be like a pirate ship, either with a tentacle wrapped around it potentially, or being attacked by mermaids. That could be another one, but something like slightly fantastical, I think would be preferred. Or it could just be like a very chilled, you know, like pirates just on the way back from, you know, maybe they've been out and maybe they've ransacked a ship or two, you know, and, you know, after a hard day of, you know, stealing and things like that, they're sailing on back into the sunset. Who knows? So, but have a think about it as we progress. But anyway, I'm just going to, there we go. Not sure if this is like, this horse is looking like a horse, or it could be a donkey or a cross. What do they call them? Cross between a donkey. Is it an ass? Cross between, what is it? Cross between a donkey and a horse, something like that. Anyway, it's got a bit more of a donkey feel. My friends up at the farm have got donkeys. That might be why I'm being a bit influenced at the moment. Some lovely donkeys. But yeah, anyway. So we've got that there. Let's have a look now. I'm kind of liking that though. I still like that. Hands are looking all right. Let's maybe have a think about the flesh tone on the hands. And let's do something like that. Just a bit of pink. And that's kind of looking all right, I think. This bit, I might work into this a little bit. So this is the back end of the, whatever it is, the donkey, horsey thing. And because it's going to be like a sort of Appaloosa, I'm going to, again, this is going to be like muted. So it's not going to be like, they are generally kind of white or ashy. They're kind of like ash almost. But they've got bits of brown in them, and they've got spots. And I can't remember if they've got white spots or black spots. I'm going to put some white spots in here, like on the neck, and just dot them around like so, not too much. Something like that. And I'm happy with that. I think it's generally looking all right. I might pivot now and have a look at this stuff here. We've got a swamp. It's kind of, he's riding through this swamp. Mule, thank you, mule. Thank you, James. Yeah, mule. I don't know why I was struggling with that. It's because I'm doing two things at the same time. Mule, of course. But let's go back. I'm just going back for the chat. The Kraken's MTV Dan a kraken, krakens. I'm coming out of the water. Yeah, kraken coming out of the water. A kraken arm. Yeah, so we'll have a look at that. We'll explore that. James, not sure what in particular, but this guy's jacket has turned out superb. Oh, thank you. Thank you, James. MTB Dan, I'd like to see a little bit more dark brown on the horse. I don't know why. I always prefer horses to be really dark brown. Yeah, we could have a bit of brown in there as well. I don't want it to be too much like him though. He's almost like he's going to blend into it and become like a centaur or something. But we'll add a bit of brown in there. And the water is as dark as the night sky. Yeah, I think we need like a darkish, yeah, like a swampy type thing, whatever. Again, I don't want to be too, because it's going to, I think, darker around here, but I want to keep in the inks around. Well, we'll see anyway. We'll see how it develops. A bit of brown. Let's have a look. Well, there's a bit of brown going on around here, actually, around the legs. We'll have a bit of brown, or like a yellowy brown, around the bottom here. Just a different shade, and I'll weaken that a little bit, just so it's not so dominant. But yeah, these new watercolors I've bought are absolutely fantastic. And they're not beading, which is what I want. A bit of darker brown there, I think. Now, I can always arc back round to this. How are we doing for time, by the way? Okay, yes, good. We're probably aiming at around about an hour and a half to sort of 2 hours. Something like that. Bit of dark brown, right? Yeah, I think that's working all right at the moment. Right, let's have a look at this swamp. So, like anything, it's going to be sort of green, but like quite possibly like, let me get some black out, because it's going to be more of a darker green. There we go. So I'm going to go in with this, and if you ever seen like that kind of water, because there's so much like algae type stuff in it, it's generally it's yeah, it's like a swamp. So I'm going to see how we're going to play this. Like I said, I don't want it to necessarily obliterate my line work, but at the same time making it kind of darker, because then you've got your contrast. So I'm kind of going darkish here, and then it kind of gets lighter. So there's this warrior here. Oh, you can't see it, it's slightly off screen. Let me just, there, we've got the warrior here, or whatever he is, and then we've got like what looks to be like a gate, or like an entrance into something else, like these statues. So that's the general thinking with that. So let's have a look, and again, and there's a bit of a sort of splash going on. So as the horse or mule is walking or wading, not really walking, it's kind of wading, it's going to get lighter, you're going to get more reflections going on with the water. So, and then this is kind of like rippling out. So this is kind of sending like ripples. Da, 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 da. And that's kind of rippling as well. So you've got multiple kind of ripples going on. Here and there. And then it's kind of, as we get to like the top end, it's going to be lighter. So dark to kind of light, that's the general idea. So I'm just really just blocking this in at the moment. And I'll check the chat in a minute. I'm just trying to kind of get my bearings on this. And again, for anyone joining who's kind of like just dropping by or staying, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you like this content, I try and stream daily. My main man, James, will probably remind you at some point. He has been reminding everyone, but be sure to do that if you like it, and leave a comment. It'd be great to see you again. And if you're watching this later on as well, at a later date, thanks for watching, and subscribe to see further content. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. I think what I'm going to start doing then is adding a bit of, where's my tissue? There we go. Some like highlights to the water, just so you can kind of get that. There's maybe like a bit of light coming in, maybe this direction, I don't know. Let's get a bit more white in my palette. There we go. And I'm just gonna, again, just gingerly just put some highlights in. I don't want to go too far, I don't want to go too overboard. And just experiment a little bit and just see what that looks like. Something like that, I think could be all right. All right, okay, that's generally working out right. All right, I'm just going to check the chat. Working way up. Not too much, if that makes sense. Yeah, really dark brown, not too much, if that makes sense. Yeah, I can maybe like darken it a little bit more around that sort of bum area. I think it might start to lose a little bit. Maybe down at the around the legs as well. But yeah, thanks for suggestions. That's great. It looks like where are we? I'm just working way up here. So, what's between green and black? Oh, now you're asking. I'm not entirely sure. I can imagine seeing a fiery orange and yellow sky, like if a town is burning. That could be something. Yeah, maybe like here, there's a kind of glow. That could be something. Yeah, that could be. It could almost be like a sunset as well. James, Jason, if you want to officially give me mod, I can pin messages in the chat. For example, let people know about other channel. The chat doesn't really need much policing. Will that be, if you're open to doing that, that's amazing. How do I, the next question will be how I do that. No, I don't, let's have a look. I'll have to figure that out in terms of moderation, how I can do that. But yeah, if you're up for it, that's absolutely fantastic, matey. Is it the 3 dots maybe? Maybe I have to do something now. So there's something I'll have to kind of look into that and see how I can, or maybe you can have a quick look online and see how I can do that. But yes, it would be my honour if you could do that, and of course I'd be much appreciative. Thank you very much. Kit Kats, the fella with the sword could not give you, could you not give him some mythical glow? I could certainly give him a mythical glow. Thanks, Kit Kats. but also fine pretending to be a mod with my plastic cherry badge. Now, if you just look into that, I'm not sure how I turn you into a mod. So if you look into that, you've got the vote from MTV Dan. So there we go. There's an endorsement. So, oh, 1 second. 1 second. I've just got to just very, very quickly just take care of something. Oops. There we go. And I've left my cup of tea as well. It's gone cold. Oh well, such is life. Right. So yeah, so these are all good suggestions. I'm going to see how I can implement them and at the same time still kind of keep the line work. So I'm going to just have a think about this. Right. I need a thinner brush for that. Let's have a look. What have I got? That will probably do. Right, so all I'm doing here is I'm just sort of trying to put some kind of highlights on these ripples. And obviously it's a delicate balance with this because I don't want to go like full bore and start painting over the top, because you've got this nice kind of page, the page colour. So it's a case of trying to straddle between keeping that kind of inking, keeping the painting, add in the odd highlight, but not completely going over it. Like I've still got like an oil painting on the go that I started before Christmas. And that, I mean, yeah, you can go full bore with stuff like that because it's an oil painting. But with something like this, where it's kind of like it's more, it's kind of like more illustrative and less like fine art, I guess you could say, then it's trying to kind of keep that kind of balance. Right, okay. Now, as there could be a glow here, I might add a little bit of that to these highlights that you can see, but I want to just try and establish that for now. So this is kind of like the river or the edge of the swamp. Right, so a little bit around there. And I'm just going to be darting back and forth really, and just kind of working on, this is how I kind of generally work, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then start to kind of form the picture. So I might just add a bit here maybe. Okay. And if he is going to have like a sort of aura, I think that's a good idea because this character is the focus, but also he's part of the picture as well. So it would be like nice to have something like orangey red. Let's have an experiment. Let's try something. Something like that. A bit more red maybe around. And then I can use that as a kind of point of focus then. There we go. Right. Okay, 7 o'clock. All right, so we're good time-wise. Gonna add these like, it's not exactly sparkles, it's kind of like emanations, giving a slightly otherworldly kind of look, but again not too much. So it could be some kind of like ancient god or something. Just going to check the comments. Okay, it looks like you're just having a nice conversation with each other. Is this the new paint? This is the new paint, Kit Kats. Yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better. The Lens of Leisure. Welcome, the Lens of Leisure. Lord of the Rings. Absolutely, Lord of the Rings. The Lens of Leisure. That, I think, is that Frodo escaped from the Four Horsemen. It's I think it could be like a Gandalf character. It could be another wizard. Who knows? I'm not sure who it's heading towards, but it's just inspired by. But welcome, the Lens of Leisure. Welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. Enter me, Dan85. Let me paint you a picture of the town up ahead. Right. Okay. So the town up ahead is on fire because it's been attacked by the Dark Knight in front of you. Could be that. Yes, that's a good idea. And you have stumbled upon it on your way back from the journey. It could well be that. It's like final boss. It could be something like this is the if it was a video game, this is like, okay, you're in for it now. You've done all the mini bosses, and now is the final boss. Yes, I like it. It could be a nice contrast. I'm going to see how I can kind of work that. I was about to dip my brush into my tea then. If we can mix. So this is what you get. If there's like a fire, picture the scene, if there's like a fire near a swamp, you're going to probably get highlights where it's kind of reflecting on the, I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen, but it's going to reflect some of that in the water in the swamp. So it's going to pick up these kind of highlights. It's part of the reason why I put the white in there, just so then it can help to kind of highlight it. A bit of orange. going into a bit of red. Let's see how that blends together. Something like that. So again, this is going to reflect this. So if I put some now, let's say at the top here, I can put some of these deeper colours in, and then I'll have it lightening as it gets towards the bottom. So we'll have something like that kind of going on. Then we'll have a bit of yellow. And then we'll mix in a bit of that white. Let me just get some more white in there. There we go. And then, and then. Something like that. And again, I think just kind of more like kind of phasing as it gets the you know, the horizon line. That's the general idea anyway. So let's have a look. Something like that. It's not looking too bad. And bit of red. And then let's have a look at the comments. Right, Kit Kats, wizards are all pretty interchangeable. That's true. But the humble space wizard is a different type of gravy. I like it. I like it. How are we doing on the other channel? There we go. So we've got a few people watching on the other channel. Again, welcome everyone in the J30 and Droid Chill stream. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Thanks for stopping by. Right. Let's have a look here. Now, I want it to be fairly abstract. You know, obviously, if this is in flames, you're not going to paint flames. It's going to be more abstract, but intimate that there are flames or something like that. Right. Sure. Right, so let's get a bit of white in there again. Now, These were going to be rocks or something there, but let's have a think about that. Let's have a look. Oh, before I forget. So you may or may not have seen a post that I did earlier today, and I've just been thinking about the channel, and it's quite radical, but I had thoughts about. So you may or may not know, I've started another channel. This is weeks ago. I think before I started really live streaming, called Jason Etienne Sketchbook. And you need like, what is it? I think you need at least like over 100 in a couple of hundred subscribers before you can start live streaming. So I've tentatively started just putting some stuff on there. Some people may even be watching it. Not on there, but follow the links that I've pasted on there. But I had this thought about possibly changing this channel's name to Jason Etienne Sketchbook, but I wanted some thoughts on it, because obviously you know it as the Coventry Games Art Design. But I thought, given that it's primarily, it's mainly like, this is dominating at the moment. I still do like videos for my students with it, and that will continue. But it seems to be more like the future of it is like live streaming, predominantly live streaming. So I wonder what your thoughts were. Whether you thought like just literally changing it up and changing it to that, or keep it as is. I don't know. Again, just see what your thoughts are on that. Just something to just mull over, have a think about. I don't want to mess anything up. Sometimes they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's fine, but I'm thinking, because it's, I guess, quite personal, it'd be interesting to know what, in the channel, then it'd be interesting to know what your thoughts are. I'll have a look at the chat in a minute. I'm just thinking out loud, but also it is a question. Right, something like that. All right, okay, I might just blend that. That's the great thing also with watercolor, is that you can reactivate it, which is brilliant. It's a bit in that way, it's a bit like oils. You can kind of reactivate it and then sort of paint into it, continue to kind of paint into it. Right. Right, I'll check the chat in a minute. Something like that. So you kind of got this glow. It's bringing your eye as well, hopefully, to kind of to the center there as well. So you kind of got a few things going on anyway. I need to work into this a little more as well. All right, I'll just take a break a second and just have a look at the channel. Right, at the chat. Right. Right. Boom, boom, boom. All right, looks like you're just having a chat between yourselves. Excellent. James, I did comment on the post itself, but I do support the change. gives people a better idea of what to expect. Well, that's a great comment, James. Thank you. This is what I was thinking, because I initially started this as a channel for my students. Not to say that, like I say, I'm going to continue doing my other stuff, you know, like 3D modeling and things like that. But this is like a little bit of a sort of, it's a kind of, it's just different. And I could even potentially, you know, just really just go more all in, and maybe even create a separate channel for my students for more of the 3D stuff. Just so, you know, we're not mixing up apples and oranges and all that kind of stuff. Because this is definitely by far the most active. I suspect I probably do get some of my students. I've not heard anything from my students, but I am assuming that some of them, I know some of them dip into the 3D modeling stuff, but I'm not sure any of them really tune into this stuff. It tends to be people who are not in any way anything to do with the uni. So well, that's good to get some feedback anyway. I'm thinking about it. I've notified the people on the other channel that I started with Jason Etienne Sketchbook, and I think it might be imminent. I might do the swap. I'm assuming it's just simple to do. I'll have to kind of look into it, but I think I might do that just so it's more identifiable. It's been on my mind for the last kind of week or so, thinking, you know what, I might need to kind of do it. And also I've got my own personal channel. I'm always showing that to my other students as well. The other channel that I've got that's linked with this. Right. So we've got a bit of a thing going on there. And again, I don't want to go too overboard. Just needs to be enough, really, just to kind of reflect what's going on there. Something like that. Right, I'm going to leave that alone for now. And so we could probably just do with MTB Dan, put my teeth in, suggested making the dark browns a little bit darker. So I might just add a bit more. That would stand to reason because this is not in the sunlight. So the paint always dries a little bit lighter anyway. So I think adding a bit of that, maybe even, see, this does look a bit more Appaloosa. So I might just add a bit more in there. Something like that. Now, I'm not sure, right, there's a thing called subsurface scattering. And it's where basically you get the surface, you got like an object which kind of reflects the surface and vice versa. Now with this, I can maybe intimate. So where you've kind of got the horse, see whether or not this will come off with, you can do this with inks and digital, but I'm not sure if this is going to come off per se with our little painting here, but it's basically where, it's like if you get an orange, right? You get an orange and you put it on a table, and you can see the reflection, like the table bounces the light against the orange, so it creates like a lighter edge on the orange, depending on like the amount of light. But then vice versa, you see the colour and the light from the orange. However, doing that with watercolours is a little bit trickier. James, maybe swap the channels round, so to speak, so the one that you can't stream on, you can keep for your students. That is a genius idea. That's a genius idea, James. I like it. I like it a lot. I like that. Because that way then there's no... Because I think some of my students are on there as well. So that way I could potentially either transfer, mind you, that can be a bit tricky, or transfer, or just continue, just upload, just proceed to kind of upload to there. But that's a genius idea. Thanks for that. That way, then it can continue living, as it were. We need a bit of... We need a bit of white in there, I think. A bit of yellow. And a bit of that red as well. All right. So we've got a bit of that going on. There's the well, tell you what, before I get to that, let's have a look at that tree, which I've been neglecting. So I think a bit of something like that going on. But generally, I think this has worked out quite well. There's just some additional bits. You can always do a bit more, and I could easily just continue working into this, but I try and just kind of limit it, because it's the nature of like what we're doing here is to try and get it kind of wrapped up for you good folks, just so you can see a completed painting. This is probably where, like, you know, the Bob Ross inspiration comes from. It's like you see the beginning, the middle and the end, and there's nothing else in between, and I quite like that. And also it's a challenge, because you just never know where it's going to go. It could all go Pete Tong, but I've been quite lucky, thank God, that so far, you know, everyone's been enjoying the content, and generally speaking, the inkings, the drawings, the paintings have been going well. Right. Okay, I might just darken it around these areas as well, just so it kind of creates like a vignette, which will hopefully draw the eye to the center of the page. So I'm going to just kind of go in like relatively heavy, and then just bring that in, say there, a bit in there. You can just dampen that down a little bit, add a bit more water. Because this is the thing about watercolours, is however dark you think it's going to be, it will always be drying lighter. Right. Now this character, I think that needs a bit more of a kind of glow, like a sort of like halo around it, just so he doesn't sort of look incidental. So let's just have a look at with some of the white. How we do the time? Oh, it's good. Right, so I think if we can get wrapped up on this bit, we can have a look at some of the other stuff in terms of like doing a painting. Well, painting. Doing the beginnings of the painting with a drawing for the pirate ship, and that will probably be. I'll start that. I'll ink it, but that will probably be. Where are we now? Wednesday. That could be a Friday nighter. Because tomorrow I'd like to ink in the Mad Max character, and well, it depends. I might do that. We'll tell you what, we'll have a little vote on it. I've got the Mad Max character, but also I've got to ink in there's like a young bloke who's being grabbed into a book, which I showed at the beginning. He's got his like ghoulish hand coming out of the pages. So we'll maybe have a vote on it, say which one you want to see painted, I guess. Right. All good. And then all right. Righty, and then maybe just a little bit of an outline. Again, I don't want to go too overboard, just a little bit of an outline. So whenever you're doing like a painting, and same thing with lighting as well, same thing in movies, depending on the lighting, 3-point lighting, you can end up with a hard like edge, like light edge where it's been highlighted. But again, you can't go too overboard with it. It's like it's kind of catching the light as it's coming in, if that makes sense. But it's possible to go too overboard as well. So I'm just going to try and keep it relatively minimal. Could be something like that, and maybe a bit on the other shoulder. I don't know. I don't want to go too overboard with this. I don't want to spoil the broth. And maybe could you have a bit of a muted kind of colour? I don't know. I don't really want to go with the detail too much because I want the ink to come through. So I'd almost be tempted just to kind of leave it, to be honest, and just let the inks give the sort of detail on it. And like all these things, it's possible to fiddle a little bit too much. So you've got to be really, really careful. Something like that. So look at the comments. Where are we? I'm sorry, I'm just catching up with the comments. Kit Kats, the two in the background, maybe give them a green glow. Could do, yeah. They're more like statues. I think they're meant to be. That was kind of the idea. I mean, they could be figures. I want to be careful about making it too busy, because there's the other thing as well. It's possible to just put a few too many ingredients in there. I'm just trying to redefine this character's head a little bit. Something like that. Then let's have a look. Okay. Just a bit. Yeah, I don't really want to lose that edge. As tempting as it is, I think it's in danger of getting obliterated. So something like that. That leg could be in shadow as well. Something like that. Just defining it a little bit more. But also doing, creating sort of silhouette as well. And then maybe just something like that. Just so it's a bit more defined. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I could continue fiddling with it, adding some highlights, but I'm quite happy how that's turned out. I'm also just being mindful of time as well. So I want to be able to pivot very soon to that. To the next part of the live stream. So again, I'm generally really happy with this. I could tweak it here and there, but I think it's turned out quite well. There's a little bit there. Just have a look at maybe just a bit in there as well. A bit of red. But again, thank you folks for the art direction. It's much appreciated. It's just nice to kind of like make things a little bit more interactive, and it kind of gives you a bit of a say-so in like where it kind of goes, which is always a nice thing. See, I really wouldn't have thought about doing that. I was just going to have it fairly kind of neutral, and I think that was a good move. I could certainly like continue with this and do, let me just bring it up to the screen. Oh, battery getting low, battery getting low. I think we'll be all right. Hopefully it's not going to fade out. Yeah, so you can see there, you've got the character there. I think he's turned out quite well. And we've got these characters there, and we've got that, whatever it is, the fire. Then we've got our kind of Gandalf wizard type character. There's the horse/mule. again, that's turned out quite well. And then, you know, I could easily continue with this for hours, but I think generally, I think that's turned out all right. That's turned out all right, that is. Oops, put that there. Let me just check the battery, folks. I don't want it to. I don't want it to end prematurely. Let's have a look. Oh, that's weird. 16%. That's exactly where it was when it warned me before yesterday. I think we're still safe, although I might be tempted just to, well, we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it, but I might have to kind of put the charger on there. All right, so let's now pivot. I'm just going to check the James. Unfortunately, I've got to go in a minute. The darts are about to commence. Excellent. Dan, Kit Kats, see you again. See you, James. Take care, mate. By the way, dot next to my name, add as moderator, no rush. Now, I'll do that. That'll be one of the things that I do. So if you're watching this now or later, I shall do that. And I guess you'll get notified on your YouTube, whatever. So have a good game of darts, Dan. So Kit Kats. So let's now pivot. Kit Kats. So this was the character that I started yesterday, you may recall. So there's the what did you say? The pike, and then we've got the chainsaw coming from it. I think it turned out quite well. I inked it up. Well, I started last night and then finished it this morning. I will potentially. Well, this is what I was going to say to take a vote on it. Either paint that tomorrow, or alternatively, you may have seen a short video that I did online where I did this drawing this afternoon, and I did a sped up, like a time lapse of it. And it's basically what it is this young, I guess, he's Victorian lad who's reading some Gothic novel, and then his hand comes out of nowhere to kind of drag him through into the novel. I thought that'd be quite an interesting thing to do. So I might ink this up, not now, but ink this up, and then we can maybe think, okay, which one would we like to ink up tomorrow? So have a think about that. Moving on, hopefully that's still drying. Let's have a quick look. Make sure that's not, yeah, it's not going to go onto the other page, that's fine. I think that turned out quite well. Sometimes you kind of like, because it's so up close, it's difficult to appreciate it. And then when you go away and then you come back, you can think, oh, actually that turned out quite well. So anyway, so let's have a quick look then. So we've got 60% on the battery on my phone. Maybe I can just start sketching this in. Kit Kats, that's Ace, another pleasant stream. You're welcome. I could start, for the last, say, 10 minutes, just start sketching that in with, I'm not sure if MTB Dan is still with us. If you are, Dan, I'm going to have a think about where we could take this. I might need a little bit of reference, so I'm just going to get my little iPad. And for these remaining minutes, I'm going to just have a think about, I need a pirate ship. Pirate ship. Let's have a look. Just going to have a look online, or even look on here. Just as literally, just so I can get my head around the structure. But thank you for everyone for watching. This is the kind of wind down now. It's like the cooling down part of the stream where I'll just do a little bit of drawing. And then we'll kind of wrap up. But it's been another good one. It's again just brilliant conversation, brilliant comments. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. And again, if you are watching this now, watching it later, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this content and if you want to see some more. Right, let's have a look at you can't see this. I'm just looking at pirate ship. Just so I can get some reference. Pirate ship. Let's see what it brings up. Okay, so we got the general. All right. Okay, there's like a model of a pirate ship. So if it's going to be, something like, okay. So I think what I'm going to do then is I'm going to sort of block out possibly, I'd say, make it at a slight angle. And again, I'm going to have a think about, it's going to be something like, again, this is like what they call blocking out. So this is just really, really basic kind of drawing. This is essentially, it's just like a block, but just to kind of get the general idea. And after that, I could start kind of like creating a curve, and there's like a mast that kind of comes out like so. And we've got waves. And then we've got the masts. Now, from what I can see, there's two masts. So you kind of got one there, one there. Yeah, this is unlike, say, doing a character, this needs a bit more thought, because you've got to be, even if it's just an impression, you've got to have like a bit of a grounding on it. So it's going to be something like this, and maybe something like that. And the idea is you've got this tentacle, so there's going to be a tentacle. I'm assuming the tentacle is going to be going something like that. Up and over. I'm not sure if you're actually going to see the creature itself, but it could be, we could have like another one there, like the crack, like like Pirates of the Caribbean. We could have another one that could be like a good move. We've got the other one kind of arcing, so it's almost like hugging it. And again, this is going to take a bit more detail. If it's at sea, obviously we're going to have, that's the kind of horizon line. We could even have some people who've gone overboard. We could have some like some of the pirates who've kind of been thrown overboard, watching on in horror as it's being, it's being sunk. So they could be there, like so. Maybe there are some more in the sea. So maybe we could do it like, it'd be quite, it's not like that straightforward, because if we're going to have like pirates in the sea, what we're going to see is, various assortment of, we're going to have waves. So again, don't want to kind of overcrowd it too much. Maybe it's like a storm, or we could have some sky. It could be like a sunset or something, or whatever. So we've got a few things going on there, and I think that's going to be setting the tone, I think, for the next one. So that could be possibly the weekend. We'll see how that one goes, but at least it just kind of gets me thinking. It gets me thinking about how I can kind of structure it. I could even spill it over into this other page potentially. So you can't see that at the moment, but can I zoom out there, or is that the extent? There we go. Oops. So what I could do is have that, let me move my knife out of the way. So have that, and it could sprawl, onto here, even potentially having the, whatever it is, the Kraken character, something like that, whatever. Again, this is just kind of blocking it out. But, do something like that, where you've kind of got these tentacles, and so it's kind of going underneath the surface of the water, of course, so you're getting the waves. So this would be quite an ambitious one to do, and certainly not in any way straightforward. because it'd require a little bit of thought process. Totally doable, but it's just something I'm gonna have to just put a bit more brain power into how I can do it. But totally doable. So we kind of got something like that. Maybe it's breaking it in two. I'll have to have a think. Breaking it in two, or it's wrapping its tentacles around it. They've all jumped overboard. We've got these sailors here now. Maybe like one, they're on a raft. Could be something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I think we're now at the stage where we're ready to kind of wrap up. We've got Mizu Yut. Hello, bro. You're arriving at the end, pretty much the end of the stream. Let me just show you what we've been painting. So this is, I'm getting another warning about my battery. There we go. So this is the scene that we've been painting this evening. You can see the video in its entirety shortly after it's uploaded. And you can subscribe if you feel like subscribing, like, and comment. You're already commenting, so thank you very much for that. Pot will eat itself. Hey, pot will eat itself. Excellent. Mizu Yurt, where are you from? Matlock in Derbyshire. Although I teach at Coventry University, teach games art. Pot will eat itself. That looks so good. Thank you, Pot will eat itself. Yeah, that was the one I did today with the help of Kit Kats and James, and also, of course, MTB Dan 85 as well. But yeah, it turned out quite well, didn't it? That was one, you saw that the other day. This is the one that I started inking this morning. This was a suggestion from Kit Kats about making like a Mad Max character. Well, I had no idea about a Mad Max character, but Kit Kat suggested having this character with a kind of chainsaw. I'm going to ink that possibly later on. And then this drawing you'll see on my channel. I just did that today, which I'm going to ink up. This was a suggestion from MTB Dan to do a pirate ship with a Kraken. I'm going to have a think about this one and start to map it out. Other than that, if you are new here, I do all these kinds of drawings. Here's another kind of strange creature there. But again, if you look on the previous videos, I go through my sketchbook, so you'll be able to see all of these in their entirety, even being made. You've got these characters here. And what was the one from last night? Got one from last night, which I'll show you before we wrap up. Not that. There we go. This is the one that I did last night as well, which Pot will eat itself. I think you were there, weren't you, for that? Little kind of, I don't know, like something from, what is it? What's that film? The Jabberwocky or Time Bandits. Like this guy riding on a purple pig. And then we've got, well, that guy's from weeks ago, but anyway. But anyway, thank you for dropping by, folks. We are at an end. You'll be able to see this in its entirety anyway, if you watch the video once it's uploaded. And I shall be around tomorrow. So I'll be streaming tomorrow, possibly inking this up or that up as well. We shall see. Let me just go and see if there are further comments. Misu Yut, you're from India. Oh, welcome from India. Whereabouts in India you're from? You have to let me know. But wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. You're most welcome, and please do subscribe. We'll be streaming again tomorrow at a similar time. Wow, bro, your art is nice. You're very kind, Musa. You're very kind. Thank you for the lovely, lovely comment. Pot will eat itself. Have a good evening. Have a good evening. Pot will eat itself. I hope to see you tomorrow. Kit Kats, take care. Take care, Kit Kats. Musa Yut, where am I from? As I mentioned, from Matlock in Derbyshire. Musa Yut, be sure to like and subscribe. You've already commented, thank you. And you've said some lovely things as well. But if you want to catch us tomorrow, subscribe. I'll send out a notification, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm not sure if it'll be, where are you? It possibly will be nighttime where you're from or morning. Time difference, you might be, about 7 hours behind, possibly 7-8 hours behind, depending on where you're from. But be sure to check in. Other than that, all that's left to say is thank you so much, you lovely people, for tuning in. Absolutely beautiful. I love doing this, and I will continue as long as there's breath in my body. I will continue doing this, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves, folks. Be safe, and look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's stream. Take care, folks. Bye for now. Mizuyut, you only have 1.37 subscribers. Well, that's pretty good. I've got my other channel as well, which I've got roughly the same. So to the other people in the other channel, forgive me, Kepi5766, hello. You've got the same last name as I do. Beautiful art right now. Kepi5766. Fantastic. Well, another Etienne then. Well, welcome. Listen, be sure to subscribe. You can subscribe on this channel, but there's also the other channel, which is Coventry Games, Art and Design. So stay tuned for other notifications. But Kepi5766, thank you for stopping by. I'll be streaming at a similar time tomorrow. Thank you for your lovely comment, and I'll see you then. Take care, folks. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.